Welcome to another show. We got Bronson in the house.
How we doing?
How you doing, brother?
Doing good.
You know, one thing about you is you're always happy. You're always smiling. Why is that? What is life all about for Bronson Kaufusi? Why are you always so happy? What's going on?
Oh man, I don't know. I think there's this. I can't complain. Like I wake up every morning grateful for the life I'm living, and I just want to take advantage of every second. So it's for me personally, it's just hard to be, kind of not happy, like sad. I don't know.
Yeah. Can you even remember the last time you were sad, or does it happen more often than I'm assuming?
No, it's what, for me it's like it's when things are out of my control. That's probably when I get sad. Like playing sports, it's like when you get hurt. That's kind of sad. But you're more sad that like you don't get to go and support the team. So like if there's something if it affects others, then that's sad. That's tough. I mean, there are sad things in life for sure, but I just don't stay sad that long. It's just I don't want to waste.
Yeah,
time.
every time I see you, it's like the world lights up around me. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool gift that you have. So,
thank you.
Thanks for being a light to the world. So you mentioned sports. Sports is obviously, I mean, in the opening sentences, you're already mentioning team and sports. And I know that sports has been and is a big part of your life. So maybe talk us through that. Like, what sport is it? When did you start playing, and where did it take you?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay. So it all started with my dad, honestly. So my dad's from Tonga, moved here when he was 9, got recruited to go play football in high school. And or he had moved to Utah.
Okay.
And then he grew up in Glendale.
So when did he move from Tonga? Did he born and raised in Tonga?
Yeah, born and raised, but he moved when he was 9.
9. Okay.
To Glendale, Utah, and he went to South High, and he has a bunch of brothers. They're all at the park over there, and literally the high school coach comes walking by. Why aren't you guys playing football? And he's the oldest.
How old at the time?
Oh man, he was in high school at the time. He was probably 15, 16.
High school age, okay.
Yeah, and literally he started playing, and then he learned about scholarships, got offered.
Wait, so hold on. So they were just chilling at the park.
Chilling at the park.
Playing
rugby.
Playing rugby, not even football.
Not even football, yeah.
And then the coach is out there and says, you guys should not be playing rugby. You should be playing football.
Yeah, but they didn't know about football because in Tonga, it's only rugby pretty much.
But now I'm assuming now in Tonga, football is a thing because there's so many Tongans in the league.
Yeah, it is a thing. But not so much. It's not as much as like an American Samoa where American kind of.
So the sport is still rugby.
It's still rugby.
In Tonga.
Still rugby in Tonga. So yeah, ends up going and playing well to the point where he gets offered scholarships, and then he literally calls home and tells his mom like every single one of the boys needs to play this game because you get school paid for, and so he was the first one. He went to Dixie at the time.
Okay.
Then he went to BYU, and from there got drafted into the NFL to the Eagles in the 80s. So he was Reggie White's backup.
Oh, wow.
And that's where I was born, in
Philly.
In Philly, on the Jersey side. So Cherry Hill area, Voorhees. So
how long was your pops in the league?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
With the Eagles the whole time?
Eagles the whole time. And then he went and did some overseas play for a couple of years outside of that.
Where overseas?
London Monarchs.
In London?
Yeah, so he'd go play, come back.
Oh, okay, so you didn't live in England?
No.
You didn't? Okay.
He would just go and come back, and my mom, she's from Provo.
Okay, so you didn't go to England. He'd just commute back and forth.
Yep.
Yeah, and keep going. When did he end his career, and how did you start getting into football personally?
When he finished up after England, he got hired at University of Utah to come coach. So we moved, I guess for that, back to Utah. And I was just around the facility all the time, honestly. Like all the guys were at our house. Like he'd have.
And who was the head coach at Utah?
Ron McBride. So my dad played at BYU, coached at Utah at the time. Kyle Whittingham was there. Kyle Whittingham, I believe, was the new coordinator. And then my dad went into the scene. And he honestly got put on the map just because he started recruiting the top players out of Hawaii. So that's
He had
kinda,
that connection.
he had that connection, and he just could go and recruit, these kids, that were Polynesian, and so I grew up around the facility, but I could play whatever I wanted. Like my dad let us do whatever we wanted. Like I didn't even play football till, wow, I didn't play flag football. That was the first thing I played in 5th grade. And I didn't even play.
Grade.
Yeah, I didn't play tackle till 8th grade.
Oh well.
So it was always soccer was first.
Soccer.
Soccer.
I would have never guessed soccer.
I love soccer.
Really?
I love it. It's so fun. That's all we played growing up. I was on the travel team. I was doing like all the stuff.
Do you play club in Utah?
I played club.
Who? What club?
Impact.
Impact. Okay.
I was on Impact.
I see you. Okay.
And then I got into baseball. But then I really went into basketball.
What position did you play in soccer?
I started out as a midi. So I was running all
Like a defensive or an offensive?
offensive midi.
So like a 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I became a defender. Yeah. But I would kind of bounce back and forth. And then I got so tall, they put me in goalie. And I mean, I would rotate. I wasn't a goalie like necessarily. I was like the backup goalie.
You just rotate?
Yeah. But
How tall are you?
I'm 6'7".
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a little more, but
Crazy. 6'7". But your brother is taller than you.
yeah, he's like 6'10".
Wow.
My younger, taller brother.
Yeah.
6'10".
And then siblings, 2?
I have an older sister, so she played college basketball, and then I have that brother. Yeah, he played basketball and
You
football.
have another brother.
And then I have another brother.
You.
Yeah, and then he's done now, and then he has a twin sister who played soccer at BYU Hawaii. So we all.
So how
played.
many is that? 5?
5.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
And then where's your mom from?
She's from Provo.
Provo.
Yeah, she was raised in Provo, single mom, 6 kids in Provo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's the mayor.
7 kids. Oh gosh. Yes, she's the mayor
Currently,
of Provo.
okay.
7th year right now.
7th year.
If she chooses to run, she'll run next year for her 3rd term.
Got it. Okay.
So-
So I want to get back into that, being the son of a mayor.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to go back to your sports. So you're playing soccer, which I would have never guessed.
That's your favorite sport too, huh?
Yeah. So I didn't even grow up with soccer
Wait, what?
because in Puerto Rico,
That's how you Puerto Rican.
we didn't have soccer, bro. Basketball, and look at my height, kind of challenging. So basketball, baseball, volleyball, boxing.
Boxing, that's right.
I did all 4 of those. And soccer, so I lived in the Dominican Republic for 5 years. That's where I got introduced to soccer. And I literally only played soccer 1 year, and it was in the 3rd grade. And I remember when I scored my first goal, it was the most glorious feeling I had ever felt up to that point. It was phenomenal. The euphoria.
What'd you do afterwards, after you scored?
Oh, I was just like, this is incredible. I'm going to play the sport forever. But I moved back to Puerto Rico in the 4th grade. And I literally, no joke, bring the soccer ball out to the street to play with my friends. We're 20 hoodlums living on the same block.
Yeah.
And I bring out the soccer ball and like, bro, what are we doing with this? They literally, I kid you not, grab a bat and say, let's play softball, baseball with the soccer ball because it'll go farther. So we literally ended up playing baseball with my soccer ball until it was no longer a ball because we destroyed it. So, so much by hitting it. Yeah. No, so I would box. I would play volleyball.
Oh, yeah. Volleyball's so fun.
For a minute, I was center blocker because of my hops.
Let's go.
I used to be able to dunk a tennis ball. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
At 5'8".
Yeah. I was going to say, that your vert is over. Whoa.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then I played the 1 in basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah, always way into sports. Football really didn't exist, like American football.
Yeah.
I knew a few friends that had some like American ties, some gringo ties that played with the U.S. Army base and stuff.
Yeah.
But soccer non-existent, American football non-existent. Those other sports were everything. So our opening sport was essentially volleyball. So we would open the school season with volleyball, then we'd pivot to basketball, then we'd end it with baseball. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I love volleyball. I wish I would have played volleyball, honestly.
Yeah.
'Cause I play it now and I love it.
Yeah. So one of my buddies got recruited from Puerto Rico to go to BYU, Ozzie Antonetti.
Oh, I've heard that name.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
His vert was insane. Like, there's a silhouette of him at BYU, and the
Oh, that's him. The one
Yeah.
that says like, look how high this guy can
Yeah,
jump.
that's
That's him.
That's him. I think he's only 6'1". He was a outside hitter.
Yeah.
He's a lefty.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
But he
about.
represented the Puerto Rico national team, and he was I don't know if he still is. He still may be, or recently retired from being the men's national volleyball coach for Puerto Rico
Holy
too.
cow.
And his son is a professional soccer player. So now we go back
Whoa.
to soccer. So,
Yeah.
so my generation, no soccer. Ozzy Antoine, no soccer either. But the younger generation started falling in love with Ronaldo and Messi and all these big figures. And all of a sudden, soccer started becoming big in Puerto Rico. This is after I had left the island. But his son got enamored with soccer, and Ozzy's like, my son's not going to progress here. I know what it takes to be a professional athlete. I got to do something about it. So he had an uncle in Spain, in Santiago de Compostela, Galicia. So he actually moves out there to Spain to help his son with his soccer.
Wow.
Long story short, his son's name is Leandro Antonetti. He's a professional soccer player in Spain, and he's on the Puerto Rico national team as well.
Oh, my
It's pretty cool
goodness,
story.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
so family of athletes.
Yeah. Dang, that's awesome.
So when did football become the sport of choice?
It's my second favorite sport.
Still,
Basketball is my favorite sport.
basketball.
Yeah, but honestly,
What position in basketball?
I was like a 4, but I was like tough enough to guard the center. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could guard him and take him on. But
So basketball. Did you play basketball in college?
I did. I played.
Okay.
So I played my first year. It was funny. Yeah, I ended the bowl game. All my teammates were on the team, and they just needed more players because they got hurt. And because these are my AAU teammates, like that I grew up with playing. Literally, they're like, "Oh, let's get Bronson." I'm like, guys, I've only been home. Like I came home from a mission, and I was home maybe 4 months at the time. I just went through football season and had a pretty solid freshman year.
Where'd you go on your mission?
Auckland, New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah. So rugby capital of the
yeah.
world, right? Like, but I ended up joining the team after literally bowl game on Friday or Saturday, and then Monday I'm on the basketball court just dying. Couldn't even do the warm up. There's so much running. I was dying. Yeah, the coach came up to me, and at the time it was not the head coach. That was Coach Rose, but the assistant was Mark Pope. And so Pope comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, I need you for like 2 hours. So why don't you take a break and wait till we start doing some other drills? We're not running as much." So that's what started it, and I loved that. Honestly, that was special to go from football to basketball. I always dreamed of that in high school because I was so used to it. Like that's what I was always. It was always football season, then basketball season, and I wasn't even gonna play football after my freshman year because I was doing good as a freshman on the basketball team. So I was like, I'm just a basketball player. But I ended up, my friends showed up at my doorstep, knock on the door. "Hey, Bronce, we need you. There's a position open. You can come play." And they talked me into it.
So how long did you play basketball at the U?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I was at BYU.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said Coach Pope. How long were you at BYU playing basketball?
Oh, so it was 1 year. Then the second year, Coach Rose calls and says, "Hey, are you ready to go? We need you again." And I said, "Yep, I'm coming." And then the bowl game was that week. What happened was Kyle Van Noy, he was leaving after that year. So then Bronco was like, "Oh," he was head coach at BYU. He's like, "You need to come and do spring ball and learn how to drop and learn coverages." And so then he called me, and so I ended up calling Coach Rose back and saying, "I'm so sorry, I can't come play. Like they're moving me positions. I gotta learn this." And so that was the end of basketball for me, honestly. And then I just went full into football.
So that's essentially your sophomore year?
Sophomore year of
where
college.
you're like, okay, here we go. Football is the sport.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many years at BYU?
I was there for 4 seasons, 3.5 years. And then I left after that. But yeah, I was just part of that though. Like what came to my mind right there for some reason was I was trying to graduate on time on like December of that senior year because I met my wife at BYU. She was a soccer player. She played goalie on the soccer team. So we met there.
That's why I love soccer so much.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I gotta go watch soccer too. Like, so I watched a lot of soccer in college. And then
Was she on the team when there were that one player started like, remember that
With the hair?
Yeah, the hair.
Oh, yeah.
I was at that game.
My wife was at that game because she was
Really?
getting recruited in high school.
So I've been to one women's BYU soccer match. That was the match I went to.
That was
And I was just talking to my buddy who had taken me to the game. We were just chatting it up. I'm like, dude, I think that girl keeps hitting that girl and pulling on hair and nobody's noticing it. Like it
you
wasn't
were there?
even, yeah, like the refs did nothing about it. I was there. And then you see all the highlights and I'm like, oh my gosh, this was happening at the game that we were at. This is crazy.
I've never seen that.
You haven't seen the highlights?
No. I've never seen someone do that.
It's crazy.
That's pretty malicious in soccer, in a soccer match.
It was gnarly.
Yeah.
Gnarly.
You're
And-
over here like, oh, what just happened?
Yeah.
And the refs aren't even seeing it.
Yeah. And it literally the only match I've ever been to. And I was at the match.
The match.
Yeah, the match.
Probably the most watched highlight.
It's crazy.
It's not even highlights. They're pulling there.
And the refs were just oblivious.
Oblivious the whole time. Yeah. Well, they've been good since then.
Yeah.
They've been her team, probably the best team that she was on. I believe they lost in like the Elite Eight or Final Four, I believe. But yeah, I watched a lot of soccer and.
Is she from Utah?
Yeah, she's from Utah. Her family's.
What club was she playing for?
Oh, I should know this. I don't know why my mind went
she
to
Provo?
Celtic.
Celtic?
I think she went to Celtic.
Provo area?
Yeah, I
like
think
Rangers
so.
and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
Celtic. Yeah, I don't think she was on Rangers.
Yeah, it's the men's version of Celtic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay,
and I
know
think they
that.
merged and all that stuff later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my little boy. I'm like, hey, you ready to play some soccer? He loves it. He loves it.
That's cool.
I mean, my wife's 6'1", so he's not going to be a soccer player, but it's so good. Like the coordination. I read this study. Soccer is the best sport for all sports.
Yeah, it's the most overall sport. So national teams, do you follow any team other than U.S.?
I follow U.S. I follow New Zealand. Just because of my mission there. Yeah.
Yeah. So my wife, being from Argentina, it's
you guys are all in.
it's there's religion and then there's Argentine soccer above religion. Yeah.
I believe
so
it.
every day she reminds the whole world that they're the last World Cup champions. Yeah, every day.
That's on your mug in the morning.
Oh, every day. Every day. And every day the name Messi gets mentioned at least 10 times. So
Oh wow. So because you're wait, who's your team then?
So it has to be that one. There's no other choice for me. I follow
I
Argentina.
thought you had a different team that maybe they like played against each other, you know? Like,
Nope.
you got to go all in.
All in. All
Good for
in.
you.
Yeah.
That's a good husband right there.
Yeah. The good, it's easy too, because Puerto Rico, our team is just getting started.
Oh, really? I thought they would have had a team for a long time.
No. So it's just Argentina's the team for me to watch.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Oh, dang,
And
that's cool, though.
I think it's a good team to follow. So.
That is a good World Cup.
Yep. There you go. Okay. So BYU, and then tell me about your entrance into the league.
Okay. So I end up getting drafted in the third round on the 70th pick in the third round. I go to Baltimore.
Okay. And then talk to me about the draft.
Okay.
How is that process? Is it nerve-wracking?
Honestly, I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like my family's like, "Oh, should we have a party? Should we have people over?" I'm like, "Nope." I was like, "I don't want anyone around," because I just didn't know. I mean, I knew the kind of area. We'd been talking teams. I thought I was gonna go at the highest, like mid-second. You know, at the latest, fourth round. So I was gonna be somewhere in there.
Sure.
But I just didn't know. And so I was just like, let's not do anything.
And what position were they drafting you as?
Defensive end.
Defensive end, okay.
Yeah. So no one was there. And literally my brother's sitting there calling my phone, acting like he's a coach. Hey, he's messing with me. My phone rings. I'm like, oh. But it was cool. Literally, we're sitting there, just my family, like my immediate family, my wife, and we're watching it. And then literally, like the beginning of the third round starts, and then my phone rings, and I pick it up, and I don't know the area code. I've never seen the area code, right? I've been out here in the West, and it's Coach Harbaugh and Ozzie Newsome from the Ravens, and they're like, "Hey, we're about to draft you with our pick here." It was the sixth pick in the third round, and I was just like, "Is this real?" Like, it's kind of...
Did you voice that, or were you thinking that?
I was thinking that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, is this real? And they're on the phone. They're like, okay, like, are you there with your family? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you having a big party? I'm like, no. And, and they're like, okay, we'll call you back in a little bit. So
Did they ask you any questions?
yeah, they just asked me if I was excited. They asked me this is what we feel like you can bring to the table for us. We're excited to get you here. We're looking
So
forward to
so when
having
they
you."
called you, it was done. They weren't like testing you.
No,
Okay.
it was just done. Literally
Okay.
done. So then I hang up the phone and I'm sitting there, my family's like all excited. They had us they wanted us to film it and send a video back to them, to their media team. And so we did that. But then like all of a sudden I come upstairs and all my family's there. Like my mom had all the family. They weren't there at the house, but they were around the street just like sitting around. And so it was actually like, it's such a surreal feeling because like my dad got drafted and like, for me,
What round did he go in?
he was like the last round of the back then they had 13 rounds or 14 rounds maybe. Maybe
How many
16, I
rounds?
can't
How many
remember.
rounds today?
7.
7 rounds.
So he got drafted in the third. He didn't even think he was gonna get drafted. They were trying to find him when he got drafted. He was just in the gym, and finally his mom. They called his mom, and his mom calls the BYU, and he's at the gym, and then they come up to him and say, "Hey, did you know you got drafted?" And he's like, "Really?" Like he goes and grabs the phone, and he's like, "Okay, like cool." Then he went back, and then he went out to Philly. But yeah, same thing happened with me. Like. It's just a surreal feeling. And the reason why for me is because I was second generation. So for me, when I view football, and really anything in life, but for me it was sports that was the vehicle. It's like when I step onto the field, it's like I feel so much gratitude and appreciation for like the sacrifices just for me to get. I know it's not me that got me here because my dad had to go through so much. His mom, like when they came from Tonga over, she literally brought all the kids on a flight by herself. And she brought her siblings too. It was like, I think she had like 6 or I don't know, maybe it was nine kids with her on a flight.
Wow.
Couldn't speak English. Like, so it's like there were so many sacrifices made. And so for me, that's one of the things that helps me when I step on the field. It's like, I just breathe it all in. And, it was nice because like in college, because my dad's on the sideline, I would look over at him and I would see, and more so than see, I would feel like I don't get tired. Like this is endless energy right here. Like I can go all day because literally like it's way bigger than me. It's way bigger than me, And so getting to that mental state of mind and then on game day was huge. But then at that moment, it's like when you get drafted, it's like, whoa, like that, this is it. But at the same time, you're like, I got a lot of work to do. Because it's just the beginning, and now you're thrown into the lines then as a freshman in high school all over again, and you're a rookie trying to figure it out, and for me, I loved it though. Like some guys, they don't love it. Like some guys in the league, they don't love it. But
I've talked to a few guys that are currently in the league, and it feels like I was just thinking about it when you were saying that, like you're so grateful, and I'm like, man, I know some guys that are in the league that. The way they express how the league feels to them, it's like the worst thing on earth.
Yeah.
And then here you are saying, I just loved it. I embraced every moment. I never got tired, etc. So let me ask you this. From the moment you get the draft phone call, you're going to go to Baltimore. How long before you start like getting to Baltimore and getting to work? How long is that span?
Next day I was there.
So you get the call. Boom. Next day you're there.
I fly out, do a media conference. And then they fly me back, and then I wait till rookie minicamp. And then I go to rookie minicamp, and then I'm there during OTAs, the rest of OTAs, which is, I think it's like 6 weeks.
Is that called optional team activities?
What
is OTA?
I think it's organized team activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the guy that's in the league called it optional.
Oh, that works too.
I'm not going to that.
No, that works too. Yeah. I mean, it technically is optional.
Okay.
But it's good to be there just for team camaraderie.
So you go for media day, they fly you back, and then how long after media day before you go to the mini camp is it?
It was probably like 5 or 6 days.
So it's fast. The whole process is fast.
Oh yeah, you're in because on their side, they're trying to get you integrated to their system, and the veterans have already been there for like 3-4 weeks. So and you come in as a rookie, and I'm supposed to beat out a veteran who's been there, but they put money into me, so I need to learn as fast as I can to catch up and be able to compete, and they're going to give me a little bit more leeway just because I'm a rookie and they've, given you a signing bonus.
And how's the veteran feeling towards you? Is the veteran?
Oh, they don't like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like you. But the thing is, like, it depends where you're at. Like, this is why the NFL is so cool. And some people don't think it's cool for this reason too. It's the ultimate level of competition. There's 100 people ready to take your job. They know, everyone ready. You walk in there and everything you do matters. And that's how but you get used to living on that edge. You know, it's like who can show up every day, do their job at a high level. And then the cherry on top is, can you have fun doing it? And when you have fun doing it, you don't think about all the stress that's going on and all the different things. It just takes care, it's just going to take care of itself. So, for me though, I got used to showing up every day. Like I need to perform. I need to remind them every day why I belong. So that's why I love it.
Love that. How long were you with that organization?
So I was in my third year. So first year, hurt, dislocated ankle, spiral fracture my leg.
When did that happen? Practice or
training camp?
Training camp.
During like a scrimmage part. So I was out that whole year. Next year, next year played. Third year, had the best off season. They released me at the end of training camp, told me to come back. I then get picked up by the Jets. Went to the Jets for 3 years. Then I switched to tight end, and I went to the Packers for 1 year. And then the next year after that, I was working out, taking calls, and then I was just done.
Okay.
After that.
So how many years is that total in the league?
So it's 6 where I played, 7
Okay.
I was in and out, and then after that 7th, like we had reached. I told my wife, I was like, I want to have a clear distinction of when I'm done. I don't want to be a guy that's like trying, because in my third year, when I was at fourth year, when I was at the Jets, I watched my teammate run businesses while he was playing.
Wow.
And that took me by surprise. And so from that moment, that's when I wanted to learn about all things business. And that's what changed it for me. So, but I was like, okay, I know business. I know NFL's once in a lifetime. Like you have to go all in. That's important. But there is still some time in the off season where you can go meet people and get to network and talk to people and just learn what they're doing. And so I would do that in the off season.
Wow.
And so I was kind of different in that sense.
How many other teammates were doing that other than that guy and you? Were you the only two?
Yeah. We're the only two.
Everybody was just saying, oh, I can just ride this NFL thing out.
Yeah.
Because the stats are crazy. Like the amounts of bankruptcies that occur 3 years after exiting the league.
Yeah. It's like above 70%.
Yeah. It's wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm a second generation player. I watched, I was little then, but I've heard and been around so many NFL players growing up. And I was like, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be a statistic. Yeah, I'm not going to be that. So
Plus, what people don't realize is you guys get taxed up the wazoo.
Oh, by state.
Yeah.
And they just switched it, which I'm grateful for as far as payment period, where you get paid instead of 17 weeks, you get paid 34 weeks.
Okay.
And the reason why is because, guys would have all their money at the end of the year, and then they may go and spend a majority of it in the off season and need to come back for April. Like, I need to pay my mortgage. I need to pay whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad they switched it to, half payment during the season. And so now it extends.
Sure.
So it kind of
better cash flow.
Yeah. It helps the athletes better.
Are you guys, when you're in the league, are you W-2?
W-2.
Oh my God.
Yeah, W-2.
It's crazy. And you have to pay your agent.
Yeah. Agent 3%. And then marketing, the agent will take a larger piece of your marketing deals. So it's usually around 20%.
Hold on. So let's unpack that a little bit. So you're W-2.
Mm-hmm.
You have your state income, which if you're in New York, you're paying double digit.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have your 2% plus your marketing fee. What's the marketing fee for the agent?
Around 15 to 20.
Off of
the deal.
Off the deal.
Yeah.
Wow. So it goes quick.
Yeah, it goes very quick, and
that's what people don't realize is you have a short limited window of opportunity to be in the league. So you have to essentially make 20 to 30 years of income if that's going to be your income.
Exactly.
But the players, have holes in their pockets. Sometimes they just burn through that cash.
No, literally. But that is why, honestly, now this is where the opportunity is today with NIL. Why does that happen in the league? Because there's a lack of financial literacy and education that takes place. So how do you get ahead of that and hedge against that? Well, NIL creates this opportunity. There's high school kids getting $1 million deals at 15 years old right now.
Yep.
And so what do you do? And I've gone and trained multiple NIL agencies and their athletes. And for me, you know, when I'm sitting there talking to them, because the money will hit and they'll call me. Like, what should we do? And I'm like, this is the opportunity. You know, you have to take the kid, the whole ecosystem goes with them. The kid, the brothers, sisters, everybody, mom, dad, everyone, and educate them from the high school level. And this is where it's going to change. I believe we can change that statistic in the NFL because some kids, honestly, aren't even going to go to the NFL, but they're going to have all this money in college now because they've made it in high school, in college. Why do I have to go to the NFL? I can beat up my body and I could go maybe be a late round pick and I don't have to go. I made this much money in college. So it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, then we better start, you know, as former players and other people, let's start educating these athletes
Brilliant.
and help them.
So why have you taken that holistic approach of not just educating the player, which obviously, a logical response would be, well, they're young. They need help, but you're involving the siblings too. So why strategically do you do that?
You know, because I mean, at least what I've seen is, you know, when you have a player that comes from a background that, you know, there's not as much financial literacy opportunities. It's not just the player that is being affected by the lack of knowledge in that space. Everybody connected to the player has the same level of knowledge.
Plus, I'm assuming part of the strategy would be so that the siblings don't try to be vulturistic,
yeah,
or the parents, etc., with the proceeds that this player's generating, right?
Yeah, it's hard to go ask a player for money if you know this is how much they're getting taxed.
Yep.
This is how much they're paying their agent. This is how much they're giving to charitable,
Yep.
you know, or church, you know, offerings and things. Like, you know what? They really don't have that much money. So why would I go ask them for money?
I like it.
So it's, you know, I feel like there's an opportunity to change how
That's
players
brilliant.
move.
And don't you work with a company that
Oh yeah, OG1.
Yeah, so talk to us about that. What does that
Oh
do?
yeah. So
and,
OG1
and your involvement there as
yeah.
well.
So I'm a partner with Bruce Toner at OG1 Athletes. It's an NFL agency, and pretty much, you know, OG1. So he was my agent, and his agency got acquired by a larger agency, and he wanted to, you know, start it again, new, and so he represented me the whole time I was playing, my brother, my cousin, and he just reached out to me and asked me to help out, and in the areas of, I'm the head of player development, so I help our guys with anything off the field. So, which I have been doing with multiple groups in pro athlete community. So PAC. They have a really cool business structure for professional athletes with using the furthering education funds that you earn, but 90% don't use. So that's PAC. And then I'm with another group called I Am Nation, which same thing. It's a bunch of NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB guys, where it's all about events that create an opportunity to collaborate with highly successful business people.
It's cool.
So all these different groups, they're all connected. And so it's a good fit for me with the agency, with OG1, in the sense of, like, you can change people's life. I know if you change one athlete's life, you don't change just their life, because they're a big fish in a small pond wherever they're from. Sometimes they're a big fish wherever they go, depending on who it is. And like, if you can change that one athlete, they go back and they're the guy. Well, guess what? They're going to go educate their whole community.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of opportunity with athletes.
That's why I say, and some people may not like this quote, but we say that great leaders can save more lives than surgeons. Because surgeons, you think about it, you're saving one life at a time, but the work that you're doing, you're saving that life by making the proper decisions. Because think of all the unintended consequences if they don't get that proper education. But it's not only that, it's the massive effect that you have with the generations that are to come and everybody that's around that individual that you're impacting.
It's huge.
So we need that.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm involved with anything to do with that aspect. I'm so game for. And then, and if you have athletes that, I can see this like maybe 5 years down the line here. We have these high school athletes that are getting educated, their families and everybody.
Do you feel like NIL is actually a really good thing?
I think it is a good thing. I do love that the players get paid. I love that. But at the same time, you better provide some education and different things on that aspect. But it does change. It changes the recruiting game. Like money talks now, and it will talk for now to the end of time. I'm not going to go to a school because I love the school. I'm going to go to school because they're paying me. Yeah. Which changes it. Like it just does.
I think we owe the Fab Five an apology.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, what financial mistakes, because you've been around a lot of high income earners, what are the common financial mistakes that you've seen with these high income earners? What are some of the things that they do that you now cringe knowing what you know?
Specifically athletes?
Athletes
or
just
any high income earner?
Because the circles that you surround yourself with are very like high income earners. Mm-hmm. So athletes, but just people at large. What do you see?
People at large? Yeah. Man, I would say not taking a holistic approach. So so what I mean by that is sometimes the individual is overseeing everything to do with the financial picture, from what they do with real estate and the stock market, what they do, and they have individuals for everyone. And it's just so tough to get everyone on the same page. Because how am I supposed to make this decision if this is going on over here? It's actually not congruent.
And maybe you have one voice saying do this and the other voice saying no, do that. So by having something holistic, it can be mapped out in a more uniform fashion.
Yes.
Like taxes, everything.
There's so much that goes into your financial picture that like...
So do you have a solution for that? Do you have a solution of a more holistic approach?
Yeah, if everyone could go down the route of like a multifamily office type approach where everything is in-house, I feel like that's better.
So maybe explain what a family office structure looks like for people to understand it.
So a family office structure is where, you have a family that has X amount of money. And what happens is the family office is pretty much like the financial team. And what I mean by that is they look over everything. They look at your taxes. They're going to look at your real estate investments. They're going to look at your tech venture. They're going to look at private equity. They're going to look at every single thing, taxes, but everything's all underneath one roof. So now you can say, okay, well, they collaborate daily together, and those conversations I think are so valuable. And people, honestly, money, you want your money to bring you peace. Lots of times it doesn't do that. Money doesn't actually do that because you get more stressful. So how you're organized and structured foundationally, I think is super important, because then things don't go missing through the cracks, which can happen.
You can be buying a certain type of investment and getting a certain type of return that has a certain type of tax implication. And if you don't have the proper tax strategy, you're actually getting a way lesser net return profile because you didn't take taxes into account.
Yeah. Your CPA doesn't know what's going on.
Or your CPA is not communicating with the real estate guy or vice versa.
Yeah.
No, I like that. That's cool.
I like it. I like that structure.
Then, did you see a lot of guys like just spending money like on parties and bottle service and all that stuff?
Oh man, yeah, I'm laughing because I know of a lot, and it's just it's just part of that. Like, man, the mindset needs to be, dang, do I go buy this table at this club for like 25, 50K, or do I go and put that into like a Roth IRA, or like, people aren't thinking like that. They're not thinking, okay, if I can get this thing to compound every 3 years, that 50 grand could be like nearing $500,000 at like 12 years,
Yeah.
So people don't think like that. And so
so they're getting a return on their ego, an ROE, instead of an ROI, return on their investment.
No, exactly. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, exactly. And I've seen
and listen, I say it all the time, like that bottle service, it doesn't tell me how much money you make. It tells me how much money you spent.
Yeah.
So I'd rather, when I'm coaching people, consulting, I say, listen, your flex should be your balance sheet, should be your cash flow. Well, in the monetary sense of things, right?
Yeah.
It's, how much money is my money producing on a level of compounding interest, so forth and so on.
Yeah. That's so,
Because once you spend it on a bottle service, that's a liability. The money's gone.
It's gone.
It's not making you babies. It's not creating freedom fighters for you.
no, it's literally gone. And, it's like, back to the whole money creates peace.
And by the way, you're impressing people that don't really care
they're
about
going to
you
forget
anyway.
about you the next morning.
Yeah.
Like,
You're only as good as the last bottle service to them.
Oh, see, yeah. And it's tough. Like, and so it's like, if you can help, people see like, money can create freedom if you
Sure.
structure it correctly.
Yeah, it's designed to be a freedom fighter.
It really is, like exactly what you said. And like, man, if you can have your cash flow offset your expenses,
Sure.
that's just another level. And you just there's levels to it. Like, and all of a sudden you get to a point where, man, now, and this is my take on money, I get to take money and use it to give. And when I get to give, I mean, then man, you get to change people's lives. And money you can use money to change people's lives. Money can be used for so many different things.
Sure.
So you have to like change the view. And sometimes it's a mindset thing where like, some people just have a bad relationship with money. And so it's like having to work on that and see like, oh no, it's not a bad thing. Like some people think it is.
What was your first investment?
Oh man, that's a good question. I was in, I guess technically muni bonds, getting 3%. And that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now you can get 5-6% on munis, just where interest rates are today, but that's good.
Yeah.
And then I know you're a big real estate guy. Why real estate, and why specifically multifamily?
Oof. Okay. I love real estate because it's a hard asset. It's hard to lose. It's hard to lose in the real estate space. You can, but it's just not winning as much. And so I love it because I'm an analytics major. I'm a statistics major. When I go into something, when I'm analyzing data, the more I know, the bigger I can go. So I know going into a real estate transaction, especially multifamily value add, there's this many units, if I fix up, this many walls and floor, all the different things, paint it outside, do this, and this, it's going to create this NOI, this net operating income that now can go to market at this amount. So I can feel, the risk comes down. That's why I love real estate, because you can control so much. Where in other things, like if I go invest in Apple, I can't do anything but buy their product, or I'd rather invest that money back in somewhere else. So I love real estate. So that's one thing. And then I would say the tax benefits. The tax code, the IRS, the tax code was written by real estate people.
Sure.
So it should be leveraged. The problem is you don't know if you don't know. Like you have to know someone that understands that in order to know that real estate is this, the tax king of all kings. And if you can use it right, you're going to win.
I love that. Yeah, the tax code is thousands and thousands of pages long.
Yeah.
About 40 of them tell us how to pay. The rest is how to not pay. So it's an incentive program, and we have to understand the rules of the game so that we can leverage it and do the behaviors that incentivize the savings. So we'd rather keep the money in our pockets instead of handing it off to people that are not going to be as duty of care and fiduciary with our dollars.
Yes.
We'd rather be the ones controlling that.
Yeah.
That vehicle. Okay, so real estate, you've done some munis. Is there an investment that you're like, I shouldn't have done that, or I advise people not to invest in this specific asset class? Is there something you don't like?
Don't do crap coins, crypto crap coins, everyone. Shoot, I used to day trade crypto. And
really?
But I'd fall asleep to get rest for football. And I was like, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, geez, if I would have been awake, I could have made it, or I'd stay up and just do it. Honestly, it's like in that space, you need to have professionals that have been in it for a long time. And that's what I would say to do is you want to, if you're going into something you've never done before, like you want to have someone with so much experience and with a track record because I spend a lot of time helping professional athletes understand due diligence. How does that work? Like, can I get a deal and do I have multiple soundboards to send it to? Like, can I even do that? They don't even know. So it's like, yes, for sure. There's things to look for, there's questions to ask. There's a lot of different things that go into it. And because as an athlete, you get sent so many deals. And
Do you still have that today?
oh
Being
yeah.
out of the league. How long you been out of the league now?
This is I was in and out that year. So I was in and out 3 years ago, but I was still doing real estate stuff.
It's
so.
pretty recent, but you still get
recent.
hit up all the time, I'm sure.
Yeah. I look at stuff for guys just because I want to be a soundboard, and they know I have a lot of soundboards that I can just send it all out to, and they'll tell me things to look for, and but I've seen so many people just hand over money without even knowing what's going on, they have zero idea. It's all hype, and it's like there's things you need to look for.
And that's what's interesting about real estate. Real estate, there's very little hype.
That's why I love it. That's why I love it. It's consistent.
There's a lot of money to be made in the mundane, a lot of money to be made in the boring. So I'm with you there. I mean, that I'm a big multifamily guy as well.
Yeah.
For me, I love the asymmetrical risk reward component of it, where I have a really well protected downside risk, but then I have a lot of upside.
Yeah.
So on munis, sure, I have a really well protected downside risk. It's a municipal bond. I'm trading, Utah or California, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's pretty static. It's pretty certain that I'll get my return. It's a low return.
Yeah, it's low.
But I don't have a lot of upside potential.
Yeah.
Like there's not an equity build in, there's no cash flow component, there's no depreciation component save on taxes. So there's just not a lot of upside for me.
Yeah.
But with real estate, I can protect my downside and I have a lot of upside that I can, get jacked about. I can get excited about.
Right.
So that's why I love that specific asset class. But I'm with you there. The comparison would be this too. Imagine if you're playing football with 11 quarterbacks on the field.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to win. You need
No.
specialization in the different fields that you want to invest in, and that's why you need those different soundboards. The other thing I will say is we also have to be careful with the gurus that we're talking to.
That is true.
I love the quote by Mark Twain that states, "An expert is an ordinary fellow from another town."
That's true.
And a lot of gurus become gurus because they go into these new towns that people don't know who they are, and all of a sudden they profess to be the expert. So just
a lot of towns in the U.S.
you listen. The best that there is no such thing as a good investment, only good investors. So you have to know enough to make the right decision, and know who it is that you're speaking with, and vet out that they are truly an expert in the field in which they profess to be an expert in.
Yeah,
that'd be my advice there.
No, I love that. No, you're absolutely right, and I think too, my favorite thing, I learned this from, who was it? One of the players taught me this. Oh, I can't remember who it was. But pretty much he takes, he's vetting out people every year by sending performance. He's like, this is what I did. He'll hop on the phone and talk with someone and say, this is what happened. Is this market? Because he doesn't really know. And most people don't. They'll just take it and be like, this is a great return. But it's like, what's going on here? And that's part of staying curious and enough as an investor that you want to learn.
Yeah, because when I was talking to, we were in Montana chatting, and what I like about your approach is you want to learn it.
Yeah.
You don't. Sure, the investing part is cool, but what's more important to you is that you're learning what it is that you're putting your money in, and then once you learn it, you feel like you mitigated your risk to zero as much as possible. That would be my recommendation. Is I'm not saying you have to know all of it.
Yeah.
Like in real estate, I always say this: there is no I in real estate. It takes a team.
Yeah.
But know enough where you know that the asset that you're purchasing or become a partner with, that it's a qualified investment, that you're gonna do well with it because you're educated enough to make that decision.
See, that takes time.
Takes time
And
takes
energy
patience,
and effort.
takes time.
Yeah. And some people aren't willing to do it, but it's like, well, then you're not gonna. Your risk is gonna stay high.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss good deals. You're gonna go maybe on some, not as good deals. So, yeah, I'm there with you.
Okay, so we're kind of running out of time here. I could go on for days with you.
Me too.
Let's, just for fun, your most, and maybe you have one, maybe you don't, most embarrassing moment in the league, in the NFL. Most embarrassing moment.
Man, the most embarrassing moment was probably when I'm like during a game or not during a game.
Up to you.
Oh, I'm like, I don't like singing in front of people. And singing in front of people, that's tough for me. Well, the rookies have to sing for the whole team.
Really?
And they can boo you off the stage. Well, when I was in Baltimore, the rookies my year, when it's your turn to sing, there was a costume in your locker. And so
Like they choose a specific costume.
oh
for you.
yeah, Steve Smith had the costumes. So Steve put the costumes in your locker, and you'd wear it, and then it was your turn to sing. You go out and sing in front of the team.
Did they tell you what song you had to sing?
No, you had to choose anyone. As long as it doesn't matter what song, as long as you could sing it good and make it entertaining.
Okay,
Like,
so what was your song of choice?
oh man, it was Smash Bros. The Dream one. Hey now, you're right.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
So, anyways, that was pretty embarrassing for me.
What happens if you chose not to sing?
Oh, you're in trouble.
You're
'Cause
done.
It's the culture of the NFL. If you don't do that, no one trusts you. Like, but you got to go up and have fun with it. So you had to get up and say your signing bonus, where you're from, your signing bonus,
How much your signing bonus was?
yeah, and they start with the first round pick, and then they go all the way down. And I mean, you see it on Hard Knocks. Like, I'm sure you've seen it. Like, yeah, I was in a unicorn outfit singing that song.
Where's the video of this?
I don't know. They probably buried it.
I'm sure you know where it is. I need to see that thing.
Yeah, that thing is hilarious. That's probably like the most. Yeah, I was like, I'm getting red right now. I'm like, that was not fun. Like, that, and then I'm trying to think. I mean, I've had some pretty funny plays. I mean, probably one of the funniest things was, in Green Bay, I moved to tight end, and at the end of like the walkthrough the day before, at the very last play, Aaron Rodgers, A-Rod, he would do a funny play to try to go score, and he'd draw something up. So he drew up a play where it was like a reverse pass to me. Then I would turn and huck it down the field to him running down just to mess right. He makes it so fun, honestly. So I get the ball. I go to throw it, and I played quarterback, and that was my first position was quarterback. Like, that's why I played in flag football for 2 years. That's what I did in 8th grade, 9th grade, and I did defensive end on defense. But so I was like, yeah, I go to throw this thing, dirt it right in front of me, dirt it, and he was laughing his head off.
Yeah, what did he say to you?
Yeah. He was like, good job, Kaufusi. It's okay.
Let's run it again.
Yeah, let's run it again. He makes it so fun. But he's a great leader, though. Like, he makes it fun, and he likes to work hard. So, like, I knew I was laughing. Everyone was laughing. Like, but that's the point. Like, you got to have fun with it. And because that's, like you said, it gets, man, if it's not fun, guys don't play as good.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't play as good. They're not as free. They're not because who you are is your superpower when you come into a team or, go ready to play. It's like, if you can be your true authentic self, we're actually going to get the best version of yourself on the field. So you have to be able to laugh.
I love that. Okay, what culture in the NFL did you enjoy the most? Which team culture?
Oh man, they were all so different and things. But I really did love it in Green Bay.
Was that your favorite?
Yeah, that was my favorite. And then also, I mean, but I was being.
Did you win more at Green Bay?
Yeah, we did win more. I mean, but I guess it was close.
So Urban Meyer said football isn't fun. Winning is fun.
Winning is fun.
So I was just curious if that was your winningest team. Is that
it was? It
is that why that response?
I also liked my time, but we were good at the Ravens. Like we always were really close going in the playoffs. But I just loved, I loved how they ran things up there, and even the Jets. Like we didn't win, but like I loved like the players, the people there. It's like all you wanted to do was win.
Is it as tough to play in New York as people say, just with the fan base and the expectations?
Yeah, it is tough. There's just more distraction there. Where if you go to Green Bay, there's nothing there. The closest Chick-fil-A you have to drive like 30 minutes to. Yeah. Like I think they just got it actually like last year. So now the rookies don't have to drive that far to get Chick-fil-A for the plane. But it is. I mean, every team it's different. Every team is different. That's the thing you learn. You think they're all the same, but they're not. They're all the culture side of it, very different.
And what would be your definition of culture? How would you define it?
Man, that's a tough one. It's everything you do. I think that's the most simple way to put it, because if I'm doing anything, I am sending communication to every single person and thing around me. So if everybody is doing something and everyone is doing it at a high level, you're going to have better culture.
Okay, so you had 4 teams in the NFL?
3
teams. And then let's do BYU as well. So briefly, like in a sentence if you can, define BYU's culture.
I'm like sentence. I was trying to do one word.
Or one word is great.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really felt like it was like a brotherhood.
So BYU Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Okay, we go to the Ravens.
Yeah. I would say they're tough. Like their culture, tough. You know, that defense, bullies. Like you go out there and you know like we're about to enforce our will and we're gonna break you. Like that's the mentality.
Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. Jets.
When I was there, I mean, it was kind of when I was there, it was different. Like it was in the transitionary phase. So I would say, like, yeah, transitionary. Like I don't know,
Chaotic. Maybe.
Yeah. Not everyone was on the same page.
Confusing.
You know? Yeah, but I feel like they're headed there, and that's why. I mean, Aaron being there, it's gonna be so good, like so good, and so he's the one. Like if he's healthy this year, I mean, I could see them win a lot of games.
Okay,
He's the key. He's the key.
Well, it's like Jocko's book, right? Extreme Ownership. There's no such thing as a great team, only great leaders. It's the leaders that make the team.
Yeah.
Because you can take a winning team and then switch out the leadership, and it can be a losing team.
Yeah.
And in that book, it talks about it. The SEALs on the beach, last place, switch leaders, first place.
Is that Extreme Ownership you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good book.
It's crazy. Just you promote what you tolerate. You're only as strong as the weakest behavior that we're willing to allow within your organization.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And like you said, the Ravens tough. Like, I mean, I can tell that you still feel it. Like when I asked you that question, you were like, "Oh, we were tough. We inflicted the pain."
Yeah.
On the offense. Okay, so how would you define Packers?
Championship culture. Why? Because, like I was saying, everyone is doing their very best, and they're doing it in a way that their talents and their abilities are brought out, and you get to see everyone's authentic self. Like I loved it. That's one thing I loved about Aaron, and it started with Aaron for sure.
Are you still close with him?
I mean, close as I can be.
Yeah.
But I
was he? Do you feel like he was maybe your favorite teammate?
Yeah, definitely. Like when you take someone like at that level in the NFL, where literally, I mean, he doesn't have to talk to me, like, and then but he's the man. He sits with someone different at lunch, every single lunch.
Wow.
He talks to every single person, knows your name, knows where you come from. And like, probably my favorite thing about him was like, after the game, like what he would say, like his messaging was like, if you're in this locker room, like we need you. And with him, he knew that like leading with love, where players felt valued for who they are first.
Wow.
Makes them a better player.
Love that.
And so whenever he's around you, you really could feel like, man, this guy really does like care about me. Like he wants me to be good. He wants me to be great. Like, and that's all he expects. So that's one thing I loved about Aaron.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Well said. Okay. Again, we could go on for days, but let's end it with this. So I love asking this question at the end. The name of the show is Live Life by Design. Mm-hmm. We want to live lives as architects of our own life instead of by default. Mm-hmm. So what are some best practices? What are some parting words of what you want to leave the viewers and listeners with as far as what's worked for you in living your life by design? Anything that you want to share?
Yeah. I would say your vision of yourself allows you to get to where you want to go faster, or the opposite. I struggled with that. I didn't have a vision for myself. Once I got it, I could move with so much clarity and speed and velocity that literally it was all on me. And when you get to that point, like you want it to be all on you. Like the most successful athletes, the most successful business people, when they get to that point where it's like, it's on me, and they have that vision, it's so clear. It's like, watch out, because truly you can do anything. Truly.
Beautiful. That's when you become dangerous.
Dangerous. You do become dangerous. You are dangerous,
Much love, my man. Thanks for being a part of this thing, and thanks for being who you are. You're a superhero to many, and man, you got a beautiful story. So keep telling your story.
Okay. Thanks.
Much love,
Thanks
brother.
for having me.